everybody. Today I have the privilege of being able to talk to author, and you are now an author, that's how I'm introducing you, Frank Cullotta. And this is his new book, The Rise and Fall of a Casino Mobster. And this book is about his friend Tony Spilotro. And thank you so much for talking to me today. I mean, I am honored. I am so honored to be able to speak to you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad to be on your program.
Oh, well, I read this book and then, I watched Casino a long time ago. So after I read this book and I knew I'd be talking to you today, I took the time this weekend to watch it again with a new set of eyes because I don't know that I thought it was a real story before this weekend. So it was very different watching it and realizing that this was real and it was true and it was not just somebody made up a movie and decided to make it about the mob. I mean, this was real life. So it was very, very enlightening to me about your story. And I don't even know where to begin. Why don't I let you begin?
Well, as far as the movie goes, I was contacted by Nicholas Pileggi. He did the screenplay on it. It was for the movie. And we had several meetings. And I thought the movie was going to be about me at first, because the way he came on asking me questions. Then he told me, he says that he wasn't sure who it was going to be about, but they definitely needed me. So consult.
Right.
So I didn't care as long as there was money involved. And there was. And after about 2 or 3 years with these people, all the movie stars visiting them, they finally decided to do the movie. And then I went on the set, and a lot of people didn't know who I was, because I used to sit right along Scorsese in a director chair, and not many people could sit next to him, and I didn't think it was a big deal. Personally, I didn't think it was a big deal. And then a few movie stars asked me, who are you? And I said, you don't know who I am? And they said, no. I said, well, that's Marty. And I was on the set every day. It was supposed to be 3 months, but it lasted 6. And I think we did a good job. It's about 85% accurate.
And that's pretty good for a movie, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, they glamorize a lot of things in movies because it would be boring if they just filmed regular life.
Right.
Because life is boring, actually.
Yeah. And what's confusing on those movies to me is that Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci play the same characters in different movies. So, they play that character very well. But I thought that Tony Spilotro, when I watched it, I thought it was going to be Robert De Niro. Okay. And then when I realized it was Joe Pesci playing his character, it's a completely different character. So, and then I was wondering, so who did Robert De Niro play?
Lefty, Frank Rosenthal.
Okay.
We used to call him Lefty.
Okay. All right. I thought so.
They went back to. They wanted to do the movie about gambling in the casinos. So that's why De Niro became the star of the show.
Okay.
And not Tony.
Okay.
Or Lefty. Or Pesci.
I have to tell you a funny story. When I was reading this book, when I was young, I'm in Allentown. I'm still in Allentown, but I grew up in a small town.
I live in Allentown.
Do you do? You know where it is in Pennsylvania?
Yes, I do. I lived there for 6 months.
Okay.
I was in the Witness Protection Program.
Nice. Well, okay. So I grew up in a town called Emmaus, which is right outside of Allentown, and I don't think I should say the name of the guy. But anyway, we had a next door neighbor who everybody kept telling me he was in the mob. Now, I'm in junior high school at the time, and I'm friends with his daughter, best friends with his daughter. They own an Italian restaurant, very small Italian restaurant, the only one in our town. And, me and the girl, his daughter, hang out together. Well, one day, the jewel shop in Emmaus got robbed. Okay, it was a big story. And then we went into her house, and there were racks of jewelry in her living room. And I was like, I was like, did your dad rob the jewels? They moved very quickly. Very quickly. They were gone. I mean, she didn't even say goodbye to me. It wasn't even, but that was my first, like, people would say it, and I was like, well, what's the mob? I don't understand. I didn't understand what that meant. And, so that was my first kind of experience with it. And then after they left, looking back at the people that would hang out in front of their house, they seemed to have guards all the time. And it was just, it was kind of crazy. So anyway, that was my little story of how close I got to it, but that's about as close as it was. So, but you were raised in Chicago. You get into the mob at a young age. You start doing that, working for them and doing little stuff for them. And I'd imagine when I was reading the story and thinking about you, and I was like, okay, I guess I kind of get it. I mean, it's easy money in a weird way, and you get brought in, and is it like a bigger than life experience? Is that what it is for a young kid?
I wouldn't characterize it like that as far as I'm concerned, because I was born into it. I mean, I was raised into it. I knew nothing else but let's say wise guys. Okay. Wise guys meaning gangsters, because that's the neighborhood I came from. So it was not unusual for me, and I really didn't want to be a gangster. I wanted to be socialized with them, but I didn't want to be controlled by them. Let me put it like that. But I always had to maintain this connection. And this started when I was 18 years old. Mm-hmm. My first encounter with the Chicago outfit. When I say outfit, that's our way of calling the syndicate. We call it the outfit. Mm-hmm. And that's when I first realized what a thief or any type of criminal had to do in order to keep operating in the city. You had to connect with them. And that's what way my life went from then on. And when I did become a boss, I resisted it all the way until I got to Vegas. Then when I got to Vegas, I had to become a boss. So I became an underboss to Tony Spilotro, as the book will state, and formed a crew of guys to control the state, the casinos that we control.
Right.
So don't get me wrong, it was a glamorous life. You get a lot of attention from a lot of people, and mostly from law enforcement. But that's the kind of attention you don't want, but you can't get away with it. There's too many guys running around the street. Loose ships sink ships. Loose lips sink ships. I can't even speak this morning.
Well, when you were at the height of everything going well, I'll say, you feel pretty good about what's going on. Do you still always have your back? Like, are you always a little concerned that somebody is mad, that you're not making somebody happy? I mean, it just seems like sometimes the littlest thing can set somebody off, and it's like, oh, nope, that's not working out,
Well, I know what you're saying. You could get a bum beef. You know what a bum beef is? Mm-hmm. You could get accused of something you didn't do.
Right.
By the members of the outfit. Now, that happened to me 3 times. So I knew that, and I was told the last time by a guy that was the boss. His name was Joe Gaggs. We call him Joe Gaggs. It was Joe Gagliano. And he told me, and I said, Joe, I had nothing to do. I don't know what you're talking about. They had us in a tavern, and we were surrounded with all these goons. Me and this guy Bushelhead, I call him Bushelhead. His name was Mike Sweatek. And he said, listen, he said, so you're innocent. He says, but remember something, Frankie. When you walk with a cripple, you'll limp like a cripple. In other words, if you hang with shit, you'll smell like shit. So choose your friends or your partners a little better. Mm-hmm. So I learned a lesson from that man. Because 3 times, as I said, I had bum beefs, which could have caused me to get killed because of the people I hung with.
Right.
So that wasn't too much fun,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, did you ever feel, was there ever a safe feeling? Or do you, when you're in a situation that you were in, is there always, you're always like very aware of what's going on
Well,
around you?
you're always you are very aware. Plus, you're very aware of law enforcement. Because back in Chicago, law enforcement was connected to the outfit.
Mm-hmm.
So, they could have used a cop to scoop you up or shoot you. So you had to be careful. When you were getting pulled over on the street, you wanted to make sure you were visible to other people.
Mm.
So you had to, they know they didn't want to get in trouble themselves if they killed you, cops. But I know a lot of guys. I know 37 guys that were friends of mine that all got killed. All right, by the outfit.
Wow.
And of course, that was always something that works on your mind.
Right.
You may not think what you're doing wrong sometimes. You might think it's right, but in their eyes, it might be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. We burglarized a home. This is years ago. Young guys. It was in a suburb where the bosses of the outfit lived. And the home we burglarized was a bookmaker. He did illegal bookmaking. We didn't know that. And we got the merchandise and we went to sell it. Well, the guy that we tried to sell it to already knew that it came from this bookmaker's house. That worked for the outfit. So he sent a boss to us, and the boss came to me and said, that guy, he works for us, he's a bookmaker. I said, I didn't know that. I'm sorry, we'll give the stuff back. And he said, how about the cash? I said, well, there was only 500 there, but I'd give it back to you. He claims 5,000. And I looked at him, I said, he's beating you out of money. I said, he must be gambling your money away. I said, because we didn't get 5,000 of cash out of there. We got jewelry, furs, and 500 in cash. I said, we'll give you everything back. So we did. And the bookmaker, from what I understand, he was eventually eliminated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I guess that's what I was thinking about. It's like, even with Tony, even people that you're really close with, you just never know. And then you're like, the fact that your wife was kind of picking up like some undertones with Tony before you did, and it's like you always, and you're like, no, not him. But it's like you're always second guessing, like, what the higher ups are saying or what they know, and whether he's being pressured. It's like, who's being pressured and where's the money going and coming, and it just seems like it's.
My life story pretty good then. That's true. That was the very end. That was when I actually rolled.
Right.
Became a government witness because my best friend Tony was trying to get the heat off himself. And he told the Chicago outfit, one of the bosses back there. And I heard this conversation on wiretap.
Right.
And he told one of the bosses, he said, I can't control the guy, meaning me. He's doing what he wants to do, killing who he wants to kill. And the boss said to him, well, then you know what you got to do. You got to clean your dirty laundry.
And you knew.
Oh, yeah, immediately.
Right.
And my wife, before I heard that conversation and everything, she had told me previously, you got to trust a woman's instinct. She said, this guy's trying to kill you. And I saw you just jealous. Because when he call, I go out and meet him all the time. Right. And a woman don't like that. You're home with him, relax, and all of a sudden you get a call and you leave, and she looks, what the hell? You go. Now, she didn't know my personal business. She did know I was a criminal, but she didn't know what I'd done.
Right.
So I thought, well, she's just jealous because I'm going out and meeting my best friend every night. And chances are she thinks we're looking for broads, And but she was right. She was absolutely 100% right. I don't like to tell her that often. I don't see her anymore. We're divorced because I don't want to make her head any larger than it is.
Well, I think you're 78, right? I mean, the fact that you've lived to be 78, don't you think you've outlived most of those people at this point?
At this point, I have.
Yes.
At this point, anybody that I believe that would be my age, that it was in the outfit or was a crook, are dead. murdered by their own people. And I think there's only one guy that's alive yet, but he's in federal prison and he's on his deathbed, and that would be Joe Lombardo.
Right.
He was the acting boss.
Right.
They called him Joey the Clown.
So did you ever, while you were involved, like, were you trying to get higher up, I should say, like, was the goal always to be like, have more people under you and get to a point where you are, I don't know, where, you know, like how people, I should say, because they always portray that in the movies, is that everybody's always trying to get up higher and higher and higher to actually.
That is true, not with me. But
Okay.
that is true as far as organized crime goes,
Okay.
or the outfit, or any syndicate or the mafia. You always try to get up the ladder where you are the boss. To me, I never wanted to be the boss because the bosses always wind up in the penitentiary. The boss always winds up in the penitentiary, except for one boss. Never went to jail, Tony Accardo. But he could never get to his platform, you know.
Right.
Guys like Tony always was a step up, and a step up, where I didn't think that way. That's why I wanted to remain on my own.
Right.
I still have that power within.
Right. How did you think that Joe Pesci did as Tony?
Tony didn't swear like that.
Oh.
Pesci swore. I think he used the word the F word. I hate using initials. It's stupid.
I know.
300 sometimes.
Right.
Tony never swore. If he got that mad, he wouldn't even let you know. He'd kill you. You know, so he didn't swear all day long. Pesci swore too much. And he was told, but he thought that was cute, you know. I thought it was ridiculous.
What about, you know how Pesci came off like, I mean, here he is like this little guy, and yet like everybody's scared of him. You know, was that a pretty accurate portrayal?
It is accurate. Well, you know, your reputation procedure, you know, people know of you before they meet you.
Mm-hmm.
As me right now, you know, I have these private tours that I do, so they book them, and they're scared. They're scared when they first get in the car with me, but within 15, 20 minutes, they're loving me. They're happy. They understand that I'm a regular person, you know, and that was my life. It's no longer my life.
Right.
So, you know, that's the way life is, you know. That's the hand I was dealt.
Right. True.
And you got to take the right cards.
Right, exactly. So, well, okay, so when you, you know, another conception of from watching movies and everything is that when you decide to go, okay, so you realize that there is a hit out on you. You're in jail. There's nowhere you can run and hide because you obviously know that they can get to you very easily in jail. And so you're understanding that. And when you decide to start cooperating with the FBI, is there a sense of, did you feel a lot like this is not where I thought I would get to? You know, did you, like, you didn't see that you would ever do something like that. But when pressed up against it, when you know that your life is at stake, it's a real different thing, right?
Well, you know, I was raised, being around the peers that I was around, you should never cooperate with any kind of law enforcement. Mm-hmm. They were the enemy. I also remember, as I said, I had 3 bum beefs before this that I could have gotten killed.
Right.
And then I thought back, and I listened to that recording, and I fought it. I fought that resistance. I didn't want to roll. And I had to go back to the cell. I didn't know how long I was going to be locked up because we were going for an appeal bond. All right? And when you get an appeal bond, you could get out.
Right.
And the right amount of money, I could have made an appeal bond. And that wasn't going to help. Because if I got out, I was still going to get whacked. If I'm in jail, I'm still going to. I really had nowhere to go.
Right.
Here I am. Now I got to make friends with these FBI and local metro cops whom I couldn't stand or trust, depend on them to protect me.
Right.
Which was a terrible, terrible feeling for a guy that's been through what I've been through in my life. I was a tough guy, you know, and it tore me apart. It literally tore me apart to do that, to face these people in court. Now, I got to tell you something. Anybody that was in my crew, the crew guys I was with, they weren't going to go to jail on my testimony because they were caught dead bang in a robbery.
Right.
Over $1 million robbery. So, of course, I got to understand what the government was trying to prove, that Tony was the leader of the gang. They had these guys. So I never heard anybody that was in my gang. They were really going after Tony on the RICO. And that's what they were doing, because I was the closest thing to Tony. When I say Tony, I hope you understand, I mean Tony Spilotro. I got to get a drink of water.
That's okay. That's okay.
That's because they talk so much. So, yeah, it was very difficult. Very, very difficult. And that was, man, that's since 1982. You know how many years ago that is?
Yeah, that's...
I know people that weren't even thought about yet to be made as a kid or a female.
I graduated that year, so I was alive. I graduated from high school that year. So.
You weren't even born then. You're a baby.
Oh, no, I was born. But my sense was, okay, so you're trusting them. And I was thinking, how do you know? You don't know that they can really protect you. I mean, you get out. Obviously, they get you out of jail. You go under the witness. They what?
I never expected them to fully be able to protect me.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I never really. How are you going to protect somebody 24 hours a day?
Right.
They don't do that with the president. The president is the only one they do that to.
Right.
I'm not the president. So I just knew that they put you in a different location, and it was up to you to survive, which I said. I lived in Allentown for a while. Nobody would think I was living in Allentown when I was in the witness protection program. God, the places I lived in is amazing.
Did you move very frequently?
Pardon?
Did you move frequently when you were in?
Yes, I moved probably around 4 or 5 times. Sometimes I made it so I could move because I didn't like where I was.
Right.
And I more or less told a little fib, like a little white lie, to get out of this location. And they would move me immediately. They don't even try to check because they don't want to raise any suspicions. Hold on. I'm going to hang this up. There you go. I'm sorry about that.
But so what I was wondering was, okay, so say you're in Allentown, right? Do you get a job, or are you getting enough money from them? Are they helping you survive, or do you have to come into a city and, like, with another identity, go and get work?
Well, when I got to Allentown, the funny thing about it is, I was in, oh Jesus, they're very persistent. I was in the witness protection program in Gulfport, Mississippi. I wrote the marshal a letter. I said, by the time you receive this letter, I will no longer be in the witness protection program. And I left. I had already prepared to move, and I moved to Allentown because my wife and stepchildren were living there. We had separated once I was in the program.
Right.
So they didn't know where I was going, but I knew in my heart they could find me if they wanted. So that's when I moved to Allentown. I wasn't in the program. I was in my own witness protection program. So I protected myself all that other while. I knew I could protect myself on my own. You know, they were there, but it's easy to protect yourself. Just dress different. Don't eat in Italian restaurants. Don't socialize with Italian people. You know, because most Italians are, you know, the ones I come from are all gangsters or wannabe gangsters, you know.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great Italian people, but the ones I associate with usually were gangsters.
Right. But that's why it's so brave, and I was thinking, okay, so you've come out, this is your 3rd book, right?
Yes.
And you're so honest. I mean, in your books, you are so honest. And I'm like, okay, I know you're 78. I know it was a long time ago. But were you scared to be this honest? Like, were you scared to come out and start talking about this? Or did you realize, you know what, anybody who cares anymore doesn't care? Like they're gone, really. I mean, and like we already stated, most of them are gone.
I wrote that book, the first book. It came out 10 years ago.
Right.
The book Cullotta, about 10 years ago. I waited 20 years or 22 years before I put it out. I had written it, but I just put the script on the side, and I didn't even try to look for a publisher or an author. And then one day I got called by somebody, a former FBI agent. He said he had an author that wanted to talk to me. And I sat down with this author. His name was Denny Griffin. And he's still my co-author, and we're still doing books. And that's when we put the book out. But I wanted to do a book about me. And after that was out, maybe 7 years later, I decided to do another book. But I was told by everybody, the second book will never sell as good as the first book if it's about you. People tend to think that they're going to read the same shit over and over again.
Right.
But I was stubborn, and I decided to call it the Hole in the Wall Gang. And they were all right. The publishers were right. It didn't go, and it's a great book, really great book, but it didn't go as well as Cullotta. So then I said, you know what? I told my co-author, let's do this book about Tony. I want to do a book about Tony. Just about Tony.
Right.
He said, well, you're going to have to put yourself in there. I said, I know. But, we could refer back to different books so they could always see what's in this book and not get too confused. Because not a lot of people know me.
Right.
I mean, a lot know me, but not a lot. So we did this book about Tony Spilotro. And the first publisher we went to, the guy who had my first book, he didn't want to do it. He said, it's not going to sell. I said, all right, I gave you the opportunity. I didn't get mad at him. I said, I gave you the opportunity. So we shopped around. We had a few people from other countries that wanted it. Other countries. We could have sold it in England, Germany. And I didn't want to do that because I'd like to sell these books on my own most of the time. It would be difficult for me to order them in Germany, get them mailed there. So he wound up, Denny Griffin got a hold of a publisher in Colorado called Wild Blue Press. And they're the ones that are responsible for this book. This book was number one seller. It's been the bestseller.
Yes.
Of course I'm happy about it. The publisher's elated. That's more money for him,
Right.
And so the book is out there, and I don't know if it's still number one. I think it's number 2 now, but that's not bad. After next week, after it's on, I think it's CBS News. It'll be on the news, and it'll go up again because it's in Chicago.
Well, yeah, you did such a good job. You and your co-author, Dennis, did such a good job because the way you wrote it, it was so easy to understand, even for somebody like me who doesn't know a lot, except for what I see on the movie screen.
You're by far a dummy. You're not a stupid person. I could look in your face. You're a smart one.
Well,
never underestimate a lady.
But it was easy. It was a writing that was easy to understand, and I was like, the detail that you go into. I mean, you have a great memory, and to be able to talk about there's a lot of people, there's a lot of characters, and you still remember a lot of what went down, and and what happened to them.
Probably the only reason why I remember these things is because I keep on talking about them.
And then it just keeps.
And it just keeps my memory fresh.
Yes.
And doing my tours, my personal tours.
Yes.
I talk about them all the time. Things that happened in the movie. And this keeps me alert. Otherwise, I'd be the average 78-year-old guy watching TV. Half of them are senile. That's a shame. But they're content.
Right.
Keep on going, But God willing, I'll be around for a while, and hopefully I got to keep my brains.
Right. Well, I think the reason that people are so interested in the mob is because it's part of American history. I mean, our history would look so different if it wasn't for organized crime, because it affected so many other things. I mean, it's been around, first of all, it's been around a long time, longer than I think people understand how long. And I think the reason that the movies always do so well and books always do so well is because it's our history. When I was reading this, I was like, this is part of our history. Part of, New York City, Chicago, Vegas. I mean, those all were big cities that were involved and run by organized crime. And of course, people, when you're in school, you're learning history in the 20th century, not in the same way, I have to say. I remember at one point I was really into reading about the Kennedys, okay? And then I started reading books about organized crime, and I was like, wait a second, how did organized crime had a lot to do with the Kennedys, which I had no idea at that time, because that's not what you learn about in school, and you touch on it briefly in your book about Marilyn Monroe, and I love that you put that in there, because I loved your explanation, because there are so many explanations as to JFK and Bobby and her, and how all three of them end up dead and how that works.
They're not all angels. Let's remember that.
Right.
Government, they're not angels.
Right.
They just got all the taxpayers' money, and they can do what they want, and they ain't going to jail, as you can see what's going on in their world.
Right.
So they get away with anything they want to get away with, and can get caught and still don't go to jail. They got immunity for everything.
Right.
We were the biggest threat to them around back in my day. We were the biggest threat to them. I see who's on my. I see a lot of people around. I'm looking at it comes up, all the people on Skype right now.
Right.
And so, the Kennedys, we put them in office. We put him in office. And he reneged. He was supposed to take care of us. That was the father, because the father died then,
Joe, yeah.
So
yeah,
that was
exactly.
it.
And isn't it interesting that what I always found interesting, because I love that part of history, but when he realized that Jack wasn't going to win, who did he go to? Who did he go to get him
Chicago.
in there?
Because they needed that 100,000 votes that us Italians put in there. Let me clarify something about us Italians. We were no different than anybody else. We liked money. We wanted to earn. When my family came here from the old country, my friends' families, their fathers, whatever, they came here to America. They wanted to be legitimate. They were selling fruit on the street like the Mexicans do. They call them fruit and vegetable guys on the corner.
Right.
But they couldn't get a job. They couldn't get a job because we were frowned upon.
Right.
So then I put that criminal mind went into effect, and then they start earning. Not the way they should, but they had to live. They had to support their families. I'm not trying to justify what they done was right, but you got to live. You're here. This is the American dream. Mm-hmm. So, and it's still happening even in this day with Spanish people.
Do you think that there's no more mob?
I don't believe there is. Not in Chicago.
Not in Chicago. Yeah.
I don't. There may be in New York. I have nothing to do with New York, but there may be. There's not in Chicago. I'm asked this question all the time.
Right.
Not my knowledge. I doubt it very seriously. They should have never put us in jail. We could have took care of all them terrorists.
That's right.
We get into that shit real quick.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that the full story, and I'm also not trying to justify, some of the things, but it is true as to the things that did happen, even in Vegas, I should say. Like you said, Vegas was fairly safe place because of the mob.
Yeah.
The citizens, the normal people, like it was a very organized, they kept things running. It was a smooth operation,
We took care of the people that went into the hotels we controlled.
Right.
And we got them if they lose their money, then they would have free rooms, free meals, I mean, we didn't tell them you had to gamble, Now, they follow you around at the casino with these little cards they give you to gamble. And that's the only way they'll give you something, You know, it's controlled. It's a controlled atmosphere. But I love this town. I love it. I do love it. You know, even being that it's not like it was.
It's crazy. I got married there.
Did you really?
I really did. I got divorced too from that guy, but I did get married there. We went to the courthouse, and then we walked across the street.
Nothing's forever, honey. Nothing's forever.
We walked across the street to one of those, wedding chapel places, and got married. And it was crazy. It was a crazy time. It was back in the '80s, and it was
fun.
Going
on out here. That's the biggest revenue in this town. Is weddings.
Weddings, because it's so easy.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of time to think about it either.
I performed one. I'm a minister now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I performed at least 4 of them already.
Wow.
I married. Performed a wedding in California. The guy, he's a chief, Indian chief, at the Marina. What's the name of that casino? Marino, San Bernardino. It's a big casino. He wanted to get married, and they looked me up, and I said, I'll perform it. And they got me the license and all that shit, and I performed a wedding.
That's awesome.
Drunken Indians.
Right, and you still live in Vegas, correct?
Yeah, I live in Vegas now.
Yeah, so you must like that. You must like that town. You could live anywhere.
I like it because what I do for a living, I'm able to sleep when I want, get up when I want, earn when I want. It's just a good town. I don't party. Them days are over with. I could party every night. I have no. It doesn't make. I don't want to do it. Right. You get in trouble if you start partying.
Right.
Right.
And I'm sure people always ask.
I try not to have any relationships where any commitments are involved. I'm really not the marrying type. It's me. It's not the woman I get in my life. It's me.
Right.
So I want all the women in my life to understand that. Not that I have a million of them, but that's something I don't want to do anymore. I'm too old. Can't make babies no more. What good is it?
I'm not married anymore either. So I went through 2 marriages, and that was fun enough for me. So, but
it's a way of learning.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people ask you is like, do you have any, when you look back on anything, or do you have regrets about anything that went down or what you chose to do? And I can say this, I'm in my 50s, and I'm like, living in a regret world is not a fun place to be. So I try not to regret anything. I like you said before, it's like you live out the hand that you're dealt with, and you move on, and you get better, and you try not to look backwards too much.
Do I regret the people I've hurt in my life? Mm-hmm. Of course I do. Mm-hmm. Do I dwell on it? No.
Right.
Because, as you just said, I'd wind up in a psycho ward.
Right.
But I do regret hurting people. My intentions at the time, believe it or not, wasn't to hurt anybody. It was just to make money. As far as anybody getting killed, sometimes you receive orders from higher ups, and they wouldn't give you that order if they thought you wouldn't do it. And if you turned them down, then you're going to be a statistic.
Right.
So that's the only bad issue as far as being in that type of business.
And you were protecting the people you're protecting other people too. That's how you're thinking is, when they're the people that they're ordering to be killed is because they think that they are somehow going to, hurt them. So
it's usually people that now guys like that. Again, I'm not defending what we did. We didn't run around killing all kind of people because we thought it was cool, or we were gangbangers shooting people on corners like that. A guy would either be in the organization and he would be robbing from the organization for his own benefit, or he'd be an informant, undercover informant. That's the only way they would get hurt, or they were causing too much notoriety, bringing heat onto the organization, became a threat, and that's when they would get eliminated.
Right.
Not because they didn't want to quit bookmaking. You know, they were illegal bookmakers. They would quit if they didn't want to give you any kickback on the money. They just quit.
Right.
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 So do you have any other books lined up after this one?
I'm done.
You're done?
This book here, as you just showed me, do I got it in your face?
Yep.
I don't know if I got it. That book there is the last book that I've done, and I'm going to do.
You've said it all?
I'm done. I said, there's no more to say.
Right.
There's no more to say. I mean, anything else is overkill.
Right.
You know, so I just leave it be, and how many more years I got? I just want to live the rest of my years and be happy. I think I'll leave a legacy behind. That I see now, I get people that are in their 30s that are very interested in organized crime.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm letting them know about history.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm like a history teacher running around out there. But I think that's one of the reasons maybe he's leaving me hang around. I don't know.
I really do believe, like I said before, organized crime is part of American history. It just is. And so people, I mean, I love history. So people who are like me that love history, you can't study American history in the 20th century without understanding what the mob contributed to that, what organized crime contributed. So
what they did now is they eliminated, pretty much so, it's hard. The publishers are all dying because they don't sell books anymore.
Right.
Because they got Kindle, e-books, and all of that stuff.
Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, so you know what I tell people? Go ahead. I don't care if you're buying Amazon. You just don't get my autograph. That's all. They want my autograph. I give my autograph. To me, it's my name. I'm so used to writing my name that I can write it in my sleep.
So are you still doing book tours like around the country? Do you leave or do you just stay in Vegas and anybody who comes there?
I stay in Vegas. If I get enough, say New Jersey wanted me to do a book tour, they had a place for me to go do a book signing, and I wouldn't go unless there was 4 or 5 places. Right. I'm not going to travel out there on my dime.
Right.
Sit in a place, sign books all day long. I'm not making no money. The publisher's making the money. Now, if you come to Vegas, fine. I turned down 2 places in Chicago already for book signing. I see you put 4 of them together, I'll come there and sign books. Then it's worth my while because I could visit my family.
Right.
That's there, Otherwise, forget about it.
Well, Frank, if I come to Vegas,
forget about it, baby. Forget about it.
If I come to Vegas, will you sign my book?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Well, I don't drink, so I'll buy you a soda pop.
I don't drink either. So that's awesome.
Hey, a little dog just walked in the room. What kind of dog you got there?
Oh, he's a golden doodle.
I had a black lab.
Oh, I love labs. Yeah, he's waiting. He's trying to be very patient to wait for me to take him out. So.
Is that going?
Yeah.
I wonder who the hell you're talking to.
Yep, that's what he's doing.
Honey, thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, Frank. I mean, it has been my honor to talk to you. I am so blessed, and I just want to thank you for writing these books. And if you are interested in what Frank wrote about and the history, 70s and 80s, I mean, you need to go get this book, 60s, 70s, 80s. It is an awesome book. You did a great job, Frank. Thank you so much.
You could tell them that they could get that at Amazon or Wild Blue Press.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if they have it. Yes, they do. They have their logo on it, the Wild Blue Press. So, yes, I got mine off Amazon, and you can get it off Amazon, too. And anyway, so you have a great day, Frank. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, all right. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.